Okay, we're ready.
We are?
Okay, welcome to the Oregon City Council meeting. The time is 7 p.m. Please stand and join for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call of the council members.
Mrs. Ackerman? Here. Mr. Andrus?
Here.
Mr. Drake?
Here.
Mr. Gibbs?
Here.
Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Paula? Here. Mr. Walnzak?
Here.
Okay, also attending tonight's meeting is Mayor Solander, City Administrator Brody Walters, Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, China Pfeiffer, Law Director Paul Roman, Service Director Brandon Began, Chief of Police Mark Mullins, Fire Chief, and Nick Roman. Also in attendance is Mr. Steve Schrake. Okay, I would like to have a motion for the July 13th regular meeting and July 20th Committee of the Whole. Is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for approval of the minutes from the July 13th regular and the July 20th Committee of the Whole meetings as presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Okay, does anyone have any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, next up is persons and delegates. Okay, I'm sorry. We have a little bit of a change. We're going to go to appointments, and I'm going to turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Going to start with a retirement here. And then we have some police officer appointments. So I have a retirement here of Doug Kuzno, firefighter 2 paramedic within the fire department. He will be retiring September 4th, 2026, with last working day of August 19th, 2026. And council just looking for concurrence.
Okay. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's acceptance of the retirement of Doug Kuzno, firefighter 2, paramedic with the fire department effective September 4th, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs for the retirement accepted.
Thank you. Next up, we have an appointment. This would be an appointment of Kyle Schilke as a battalion chief of training in the fire department. He will be placed at step 5, pay grade 39, hourly rate of $56.9237, annual salary $118,401.40. And his effective start date will be Monday, July 27th, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment of Kyle Schilke as battalion chief of training in the fire department effective July 27th, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Pavloff, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you, council. Next up, we have from Parks and Recreation, we have some following individuals that will be effective date of July 28th, 2026. This is due to replacement of seasonal employees heading back to school. We have Tatum Walsh at step 1 at 1525, Paige Kidd at step 1 1175, Hunter Lemon step 1 1175, and Trevin Walsh, step 1 at 1175. Looking for concurrence.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, is there a motion?
I would concur with the mayor on this.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walnzak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, they're good.
All right. Next up, we have appointments of police officers. So we're going to start with Jacob Schweifert. He would be effective on Sunday, August 2nd, 2026, placed at step 6, which should be 94 to 9/31/20, an hourly rate of $45.64. And this will be, again, a start date of August 2nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Polliff,
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment of Jacob Schwiefert as a police officer effective August 2nd, 2026.
okay, thank you, Mrs. Polliff. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second, motion made by Mrs. Polliff, second by Mr. Gibbs. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you, council. And next up, we have Connor Wern. Connor would be starting with an effective date of Monday, August 3rd, 2026, with an annual salary of $82.25, an hourly rate of $38.57. And once again, this would be a start date of August 3rd, 2026.
Okay. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor's appointment of Connor Wern beginning August 3rd, 2026 as a new police officer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mrs. Polliff. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
I assume that to be you. All right, congratulations. If you would like to say something, you may. You're not required to, but if you'd like to, you may.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to start my career in this community, and I'm very excited to make a positive difference here also.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Mr. President,
Mr. Mullins.
Chief Schilke is here. I believe he's prepared about a 22-minute speech.
Okay.
He's very anxious to talk to the crowd. If you'd like to give him the opportunity to share a few words as well.
Okay, Mr. Schulke,
He doesn't
come
look
on
like he
down.
agrees.
You're the next contestant.
Start the timer.
I guess. No, I really appreciate this opportunity. This community has done a lot for me over the years. It's helped raise my children, provided a home for my family, and this is the best way I know how to give back. So I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Chief. Thanks. And we have one more police officer appointment. This would be for Harrison York. Harrison would have a start date of Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Placed at step 1, which would be annual salary of $82.25, hourly rate of $38.57. And once again, start date of Monday, August 3rd, 2026.
Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Polliff.
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment of Harrison York as a police officer effective August 3rd, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Polliff. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, council, and that concludes the appointments.
Thank you. Okay, next order of business will be persons and delegates to speak. Just a reminder, you have five minutes. So if you have multiple questions, I recommend you address them to the front here. And then go from there. First up is Joseph Pfeiffer. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Joseph Pfeiffer, 3164 Lantern Drive. Mayor, members of council, and administrative staff, thank you again for allowing me to speak. Last time I stood before you, I spoke about what we stand to lose if we make the wrong decisions. Tonight, I'd like to ask a different question. What if we've been asking the wrong questions all along? Before this proposal became the focus of our community, what conversations were we having about Oregon's future? Were we asking how to strengthen our electrical infrastructure? Were we asking how to improve the reliability and resilience of the power grid for the families and businesses who already call this city home? Were we asking how to build upon the remarkable assets Oregon already possesses? Or did those conversations only begin after we were presented with one of the largest electrical demands our community has ever considered? What if instead of asking how we could support a massive new demand for electricity, we had asked how Oregon could build upon its existing strengths as an energy community? We have already significant energy infrastructure. We have electrical generation. We have petroleum infrastructure. We have industries that have helped define this community for decades. What if we invested in strengthening those advantages? What if Oregon became known as the city that helps power the region instead of simply the city known for consuming more power? What opportunities might that create 10 years from now, or even 20 years from now? I personally don't know the answers, but have we asked those questions? Because once that land is developed, it rarely returns to what it was before. Once infrastructure is committed, those decisions often shape a community for generations. Shouldn't we first ask whether we're investing in the long-term strength of our own community before committing those resources elsewhere? Economic development is important. Technology is important. Artificial intelligence will almost certainly play a major role in our future. None of those things are the question before us. The question isn't simply what this project can become. The question is what Oregon should become. Do we define our future by reacting to the next proposal that arrives on our desks, or do we define it ourselves? Communities don't become great because they say yes to every opportunity. They become great because they understand who they are and they choose opportunities that strengthen that identity. Sometimes the hardest decision isn't saying yes. Sometimes the hardest and wisest decision is saying not now. Not because we're against progress, not because we're afraid of technology, but because our first responsibility is to the people who already live here, to the families who raise their children here. Not because we're against that progress. It's to the businesses that have invested here, to the land that has sustained this community for generations. So I'll leave you with a few final questions. 20 years from now, will we be proud that we strengthened Oregon's foundations? Will we be proud that we protected the resources entrusted to us? Will we be proud that we chose a vision for our city instead of allowing circumstances to choose one for us? And perhaps the most important questions of all, what if it isn't too late? What if the future we're hoping for isn't something another company builds for us? What if it's something we choose to build for ourselves? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pfeiffer. Next is Connie Trudell.
Connie Trudell, 5046 Dove Road. I have shared extensive, sound, scientific research data with our City Council and City Administration pertaining to numerous concerns with the proposed construction of a data center in our community for the past 10 months. I've also posed many questions to seek a better understanding of the various facets of having a data center in Oregon as I search for the truth. In addition, I have been praying regularly for the leadership in our city and our community as a whole during this time frame. All of us as human beings are dependent upon clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, clean food to eat, and clean soil to walk upon. These are basic necessities to sustain life, no matter what your stance on a data center may be. We have been entrusted by our divine creator to be good stewards of our environment, which includes our abundant foliage and wildlife. We are closely interconnected with our environment. The concerns I have presented in opposition to a data center in our community are not unique to Oregon, Ohio. They are not unique to the state of Ohio. They are not unique to the Midwest. They are not unique to the United States of America. These are human issues, global human issues. I ask those of you holding administrative positions in our city and those of you serving as council members who will be casting final votes on this data center project to reflect upon some key questions. Is the safety, health, and well-being of yourselves, your families, your friends, your neighbors, and other community members worth sacrificing for strictly monetary reasons? Is the safety, health, and well-being of our environment worth sacrificing for strictly monetary reasons? I, for one, think not, based upon moral and ethical principles. I could never sell my soul for a data center. I have some scripture verses to share with all of you pertaining to our divine responsibility of good stewardship for our environment. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Then the Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend it and keep it. Job chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. But now ask the beasts, and they will teach you, and the birds of the air, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, and the fish of the sea will explain to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this, in whose hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind? Psalm chapter 65, verses 9 through 13. You visit the earth and water it, you greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water, you provide their grain. For so you have prepared it. You water its ridges abundantly, you settle its furrows. You make it soft with showers, you bless its growth. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. They drop on the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered with grain. They shout for joy. They also sing. There are many battles we face in this life, and our Heavenly Father is beside us in all of our battles, including the issues we are presently contending with in our community. I'm sharing some pertinent scripture verses with all of you. Psalm chapter 110, verse 1. The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 13 through 17. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, which you will be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. I'm going to end with a prayer. Heavenly Father, please envelop the entire community of Oregon, Ohio with the hedge of protection of the Holy Spirit. Please keep all harm and all evildoers away from our community. Please grant divine wisdom and discernment to Mayor Salander and his team as they make all decisions pertaining to our community, particularly in regard to the data center project at the present time. Please grant complete divine favor to Mayor Salander and his team during all their business dealings, especially during all upcoming meetings, discussions with Capacity LLC and their associates. I'm asking all of this in the name of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Trudell. Next is Pete Rayner.
Pete Ryder, 2025 West Baywood Drive, Oregon, Ohio, 43616. I urge council to vote down item 100-20266 or 26. We've already spent enough money on trying to fix a boat launch that we already have and put that money towards the infrastructure that we are failing at now. We've got a Veterans Park down there with no flag. We don't have any water here for the people on this side of the bench. So I urge a nay vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reiner. Next is Mr. Jim Davis. Mr. Davis.
Jim Davis, 5494 Bayshore Road. Good evening. Our group, the United Neighbors of Oregon, was started on a simple premise, that voters should have a voice when it comes to the future of Oregon. For years, the city of Oregon has been influenced by outside forces shaping our development. Organizations such as the OEDF, the Regional Growth Partnership, and Jobs Ohio have had an oversized influence in decisions made on local issues. These organizations do not represent us, the citizens. They represent powerful corporations that seek to further their own interests, often at the expense of local communities. All of these organizations have one thing in common: secrecy. They are independent organizations not subject to public disclosure laws that cities and townships must adhere to. Many of you may be unaware that the data center project started as long ago as 2020. The RGP, with the cooperation of Jobs Ohio and the former mayor, conceived the idea of putting together a site for development. It did not matter to them that there were homes across the street, some of them practically brand new. It was done under the guise that this particular area was within the area of an old master plan that designated this corner as a portion of the industrial park. The zoning in place at the time was a mix of agriculture and residential. I don't know if it was the RGP or Jobs Ohio that suggested advanced manufacturing is a relatively harmless description of what they had in mind for this site. But their goal was simple: to sell this area to the public as a buffer zone between the heavy industrial area and the residential area. The first project conceived for this site was a battery plant. When the details became known, it proved unpopular to the public and was unceremoniously dropped. Meanwhile, Jobs Ohio began promoting the idea of bringing data centers to Northwest Ohio. The Columbus area had become saturated with data centers, and they needed to find suitable locations in other areas of the state to locate them. Northwest Ohio became the target of a slick marketing campaign. Buzzwords such as behind-the-meter power, closed-loop cooling appeared as industry talking points to allay fears of the public. Such terms are designed to obscure the fact that many such designs still use evaporative water cooling for cooling and generate massive amounts of CO2, NOx, and other greenhouse gases. Meanwhile, the lack of many permanent jobs was downplayed, and instead they promoted thousands of temporary construction jobs as a driver of economic growth. The term national security has been used to downplay the fact that many of these AI data centers are for commercial use and to promote the idea that they are vital to protect us from the boogeyman China, ignoring the reality that the U.S. has many times the number of data centers that China has. Several factors played into this decision. The Nexus pipeline runs through this area to transport fracked gas from southeastern Ohio and southern Pennsylvania. There are also abundant resources of water and power distributed, and millions of acres of relatively cheap farmland ripe for the picking. Conserve Ohio is a grassroots effort to control the invasion of hyperscale data centers here in Ohio. Their goal is to protect local communities from the detrimental effects of these large-scale data centers on local communities. Many of these projects are promoted by real estate developers, such as Capacity LLC, whose only interest is purchasing the site and marketing them to out-of-state tech companies for a profit. The goal of Conserve Ohio is to pass a state constitutional amendment to limit data centers to 25 megawatts in size, a size which is more compatible with local communities and can be built on existing brownfield sites. The proposed Oregon Charter Amendment mirrors this goal, but more importantly, it is intended to return control of this important and life-changing decision to you, the voters of Oregon. We urge all registered voters in Oregon to find one of our signing locations and exercise your right to determine the future course of Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next is Laura Davis.
Laura Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. Well, on a flight on a vacation a few months ago, I watched the Aaron Brockovich movie On the Plane. This movie was filmed in 2000, was set in the 1990s, and based on a true story regarding a $333 million settlement. The case involved an environmental activist played by Julia Roberts. She started investigating the water contamination when she discovered the medical records of a Hinckley, California residents. During her investigation, she discovered that Pacific Gas and Electric contaminated local groundwater with toxic chromium-6 linked to its natural gas operations. If you have seen the movie, there were medical conditions of many citizens of the small town. children as well as adults. Miscarriages, cancers, all linked to the chemical contamination. PG&E covered up these medical diagnoses by paying the medical bills of those affected if they went to their specified doctors. The disturbing fact is that this contamination dated all the way back to 1950s and 1960s. This case was not discovered and brought to a lawsuit until the 1990s. For over 50 years, people were unknowingly being poisoned by their drinking water. While watching this Aaron Brockovich movie, I realized how relevant it is to what is going on now with the data centers. Then I also found out that Aaron Brockovich has currently joined the fight against data centers. She has launched a website including a map of data centers all over the country. Now let's fast forward 25 to 30 years after many data centers have been constructed in every other small town. What will happen 25 years after they have been in operation? Some may already be abandoned due to being obsolete. The environmental concerns have already been stated. There will be toxins emitted as described by my husband's past speeches. There are also water, power, and noise concerns. The time to stop this environmental invasion is now. The research has already been done regarding potential health conditions and declining living conditions. The time for prevention is now, not after 25 to 30 years from now when our health and environment have suffered detrimental consequences. Now is the time to stop the data center invasion. Oregon residents have expressed their concerns and should be allowed the opportunity to vote on an important issue such as the data center in their community. We as a committee have been talking to citizens, not only in Oregon, but in other communities that already have data centers or projects currently under construction. There is never just one plot of land. Oregon does not have enough land for a data center to take over the whole area. There is farmland and wetlands. Birders come here every year to view the rare birds. Once they get a few acres, then they want more and more and more. An example is the Meta facility under construction on 582 near Bowling Green. It started out as one building and now has sprawled all the way to I-75. There are over 200 data centers already in Ohio, with 113 in Columbus. Why do we need one in every small town? This project was started by the past mayor, who was all in. A vote was taken before the facts and details were presented. The snake oil sales pitch that the developers have been selling to small communities is no longer being bought. More research has been done by citizens and experts in environmental issues. Our group, called United Neighbors of Oregon, has been fighting since last year to protect our city from this invasion. To repeat the words of Gary Thompson, if a city does not want a data center, they should not have a data center. We as citizens are taking a stand, and we won't back down. We didn't come this far to only come this far.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Next is Ruth Schufanecker Price. Mrs. Price.
Ruth Schufanecker Price, 5255 Seaman Road, Oregon. First of all, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, Council, I'd like to apologize for my voice. It's not good tonight. I'm going to try to speak up because I'm the first one that always complains I can't hear. First of all, I'd like to thank Jim and Lauren Davis for the hard work that they have given to Oregon trying to get this on the ballot. All the time they've put in, the expense, it's overwhelming. And I just sort of became involved in it on Saturday. So Saturday after Laura's birthday, I started on Seaman Road, but it was kind of late, so I didn't have too much time, but I got signatures. And then yesterday after church, I went again and I ended up with 24 signatures of people that absolutely did not want the data center. Out of that 24 people, five additional people would not sign the ballot because they were afraid because they have adjoining property. and they just were very hesitant about it. And then the other one was about they had been offered money for their property that was adjacent to where the property is for the data center. And the other one was, I thought this was interesting. He was a retiree of Oregon, and he was afraid that it would affect his retirement if he signed the ballot. And I tried to explain to him that it just meant that it was going to be put on the ballot, that was it. But he was very adamant about it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Mike Safarian, our past mayor. He was an officer, a council member, a mayor for 34 years. He was a council member for 18. He was a mayor for 16 years. Mr. Safarian was, how can I put this pleasantly, did not have a job that paid him a lot of salary. But he now lives in Eagles Landing, and he seems to have unlimited sources of money. One of the first things he tried to push on Oregon was the lithium battery plant. And we were all very upset about that, worked on it. Fortunately, we were able to shut it down. And he was going door to door, talking to farmers about selling their property, telling one, well, this person signed, there's no reason for you to sign. He was using people against one another. So that's one of the things that really came to my mind. He had 16 years as mayor. And I think out of those 16 years, he probably maybe, I don't want to use the wrong word, maybe that he had some influence on some of you council members. That's my thinking. I'm not accusing him. I'm just saying that. But Kathy Poloff accused me of my family causing heavy industry. So I guess whatever I say can't be held against me because what she said wasn't held against her. The last thing is, this is a very, very sad state of affairs. The people that I got the signature from was all people that I know, family, friends, people I've known for years. And they keep saying, why are they doing this? Why do they think money is so important? How many houses can you have? How many cars can you have? These big companies are lining their pockets.
Okay, Mrs. Price, your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Paula.
thank you. So there was a time about a month ago where she had come up and said that people should not own property ahead of time and stuff like that. And I remember saying it to a group in the back room, it wasn't publicly or anything, that there was a time 6-7 years ago that Mrs. Price came up to that podium and she had talked about a story where her grandfather was best friends with John D. Rockefeller. And I don't know why that is an issue here. I think of that as a really good thing because Standard Oil went on to being BP and it went on to being Synovus. And that's a very big industry in this city. In fact, we would not be a city today if it wasn't for the income of these refineries. I think all of you can agree what would happen to this city if we lost one of our refineries. So if you were offended by telling your own story, I can't help you. Mrs. Price, I can't. I repeated your story and I repeated it. And there were a few people that I'm sure ran back to you waiting to tell you what I said. And that's okay, because I'm proud that your grandfather sold property to Standard Oil, because we are an industrial city. And without them, we wouldn't be a city. So I thank him for his efforts. If he was here here today, I would shake his hand. I'm sorry that you don't feel that way, but that's how I feel. So that's my stand on it. I remember when you stood up here and said that. I remember that, word for word. So I thought that was a very good story for you to tell, because it made us all appreciate where our beginnings were. So if you think of that as a bad thing, I disparaged nobody. In fact, I was giving praise to somebody who really made Oregon what it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Next up to speak is Mrs. Karen Egan. Mrs. Egan. No, Mrs. Egan's up here now. No. No. Everybody has 5 minutes. That's all right. We're not going to get into a ping pong match. Okay. We can address it next meeting then. Go ahead, Mrs. Egan.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak. Before I start talking about this, I have to say, as a resident, I'm appalled that we have someone that was allowed to stand up here and call out names and stuff and talk bad about anybody they wanted. I've always been instructed that when we come up here, we speak in general. We don't call people out. We don't say names. So I think we need to review some of our rules and stuff, and like, can we stick to them? Because I was so uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable right now. I just try to make sure when I come up and speak, I'm professional and stick to the facts. I don't try to call people out. I don't try to be rude and disrespectful. So I'd appreciate it if we could go to that standard. But the reason I wanted to speak tonight is last week, a resident asked City Council to place the proposed data center on the ballot. So my comments tonight are about the process. There's already a process available for citizens who want this issue placed on November ballot. The process allows registered voters to sign a petition. If the required number of valid signatures are obtained, the issue can be placed before the voters. I respectfully ask the council to allow the process to work as it was intended. If enough citizens support placing the issue on the ballot, the petition proceeds, and that's demonstrated by the signatures. If the required signatures are not obtained, then that is also part of the process which was established by law, and I feel people are also speaking. It's important to remember that those who attend city council meetings and speak each week do not necessarily represent the views of the entire community. Many residents may support the project, oppose it, or like me, are still weighing the information. Tomorrow, we expect to receive additional information about the proposed data center. I hope that that information is presented and completely and objectively so that every resident and every member of council can make an informed decision based on the facts rather than assumptions. When we reach conclusions before all the information is available, we risk closing our minds to new facts. Regardless of anyone's personal opinion about the data center, I believe you owe it to every citizen to remain open-minded, to respect the legal process, and to make decisions only after the facts have been fully presented. I believe that when we make a decision before all the facts are available, we tend to stop listening. I hope all of us, citizens and council alike, will continue listening until we have the complete picture. I respectfully ask council not to place this issue on the ballot through council action and instead allow the established petition process to proceed as intended. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Egan.
Mr. President? Can I, can
Go
I
ahead.
address that? To clarify, I was asked by citizens if that was something that can be done. I was not asking, can we do this? It was, is this a thing that the council can do? I have myself, pardon? Well, I was the one that brought it up, so well, no, I was the one that brought it up in the meeting. So, from council, and I told them, I think it has much more impact if you collect the signatures, which is, then you come to council, then it goes on the ballot, if they're able to get their signatures. I do say, and I will say, as somebody who seated here in council, I've been flipped off. I've been.
Hang on a
I've been
minute.
t- well,
Mrs.
I'm just
Ackerman, please, for now, we have one more speaker. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mottmiller up here.
Okay,
And-
so long story short.
And your
Call
report,
us
you
out
can
by
do it
name.
then.
Call us out by name for wrongdoing.
Mrs. Mottmiller, you're up. Thank you.
Amy Montmiller, 5040 Corduroy Road. I'm here to speak about the proposed data center. The focus that I'd like to talk about tonight is on noise. Because when being presented with an economic plan, I'd like that to be something that you think about. It's not just about how loud it is, but it's a character, duration, frequency, and physical impact. Capacity LLC has stated that sound can be mitigated. However, experience from other communities shows that mitigation often does not result in livable conditions. Once a facility is built and operating, residents are frequently left with long-term, continuous noise impacts that are difficult or impossible to fully resolve. This concern is not theoretical. In Aurora, Illinois, residents living near the large data center operations have filed repeated complaints describing constant low-frequency hum, most noticeably at night, with some reporting vibration inside their homes even after mitigation efforts were implemented. Local reporting has documented residents describing the sound as like a truck idling that never stops, noting that improvements reduced but did not eliminate the disturbance. In Chandler, Arizona, residents near data center campuses similarly reported persistent mechanical noise and sleep disruptions. City records and public testimony reflected ongoing complaints about nighttime hum and the difficulty of achieving a meaningful relief even after the sound measurements were attempted. These concerns contributed to the city strengthening its data center regulations. In Hood County, Texas, residents near a cryptocurrency and data center processing facility describe continuous fan noise as a constant roar or airplane that never lands. New coverage documents sleep disruption and the inability to escape the sound inside homes, especially at night when ambient noise is lowest. A council member there said it was like sleeping with a leaf blower under your pillow. Across these communities, a consistent pattern emerged. Mitigation may reduce noise, but it does not reliably eliminate low-frequency character of data center sounds. Its impact on nearby homes. This is key issue. Data center noise is continuous 24 hours a day and fundamentally different from typical neighborhood sound. It has been compared to a vacuum cleaner. That is misleading. A vacuum cleaner is temporary and controlled. A data center operates continuously with cooling system, fans, transformers, generators running day and night. What is tolerable for minutes becomes harmful when it never stops. Decibels alone also do not capture the full impact. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has long recognized that community annoyance and health impacts are not determined by decibel levels alone, and that low-frequency noise can be especially intrusive because it travels further and penetrates structures more easily, and it often is perceived as vibration, pressure, rather than sound. Facilities may appear compliant on paper, still producing a disturbing indoor experience. A more accurate comparison is a constant low-frequency hum or a bass vibration that cannot be turned off and is felt through walls, windows, furniture, and especially at night. I've brought a recording representing the type of continuous mechanical sound that residents are concerned about, which I will play, but it does not give you what a low-frequency sound would be. This is not a precise prediction of the future conditions, as reading various based on this device, volume, distance, acoustics. It highlights a key limitation. Real-world noise impacts cannot be fully captured by a single number or control model. Compliance with noise ordinance and computer models also do not guarantee livability. Many local standards were not designed for large-scale, continuous industrial operations adjacent to homes. Modeling cannot fully account for real-world operation conditions over time, including peak loads, equipment cycling, and cumulative effects. Mitigation measures, setbacks, and enclosures may reduce noise, but the experience in multiple jurisdictions shows that they often do not eliminate low-frequency sound or nighttime disturbances. They are told residents will adapt.
Thank you, Mrs. Montmiller.
So it'd be like this playing all the time.
Okay, before we move on to, the agenda, did you shut that off or no? Please. Okay, then would you please go in the hallway? All right. Would you please turn it off?
I won't be able to turn it off if it goes across my house.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, before we move on to the agenda, I've been requested or asked, what I'm gonna do, I appoint the committees at this time. For economic development and planning, I'm gonna take Dennis Wanzek off that as chairman, and he is gonna go to, replace, Steve Horniak, and Mr. Horniak is gonna, replace Dennis on the finance. Is that correct? Okay, yeah, all right, all right. So with that business, everything's good, right, Ms. Pfeiffer? Okay, thank you. All right, next, we're gonna move on to adding item 103 of 2026 to tonight's agenda. Can I seek a motion to add item 103 of 2026? Is there a motion?
Can I add it? Can I make the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I make the motion that we add that to tonight's agenda.
Okay, Mr. Gibbs made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mrs. Ackerman. Council, any objections? Hearing none, item 103 of 2026 will be added to tonight's agenda. Okay. At this time, I would like to open a public hearing, at 7:49 PM for a application SUE, the number is 193-26, special use in a Navarre Avenue C5 Business Zone District for the purpose of operating a developmental disability recreational day hab. The applicant is Nauer Tawil, for owner Florida and Ohio Properties LLC. The location is 3445 Navarre Avenue. Is there anyone present here to speak in favor of it? Okay, is there anyone to speak against it?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs?
I have some questions concerning it.
Okay, before that, Mr. Schrake, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Chair, the public hearing was held on June 16th, 2026 for this application of an SUE by the Oregon Planning Commission, which voted 4 yea, 0 nay to recommend the application SUE 19-3-26 for a special use exemption in the Navarre Avenue C5 Business District on the property described as parcel 44-19901 for the purpose of operating a developmental disability recreation day hab on the property in a Navarre Avenue C5 Business Zone District with the following conditions. That the site plan submitted for review indicates parking plan layout and accessible parking spaces, a life safety and alteration plans, and issuance of a new certificate of occupancy for a change of occupancy complying with the 2024 Ohio existing building code, and that the SUE expires when ownership changes or is no longer used as a care facility as presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schrake. Mr. Gibbs?
Yeah, I just had some questions, but there's nobody here to answer these questions that I have.
Is there anybody here present from the organization? Doesn't appear to be.
Mr. Schrake, could I address you with these questions?
Mr. Gibbs, Mr. President, you may. I will try my best to answer based on the information that the applicant has given us.
Okay. One is, as of 2 days ago, it appears that nothing has been done to clean up this outside of this property. I don't know what it looks like inside.
Currently, we don't know either what the status of the structure is, but it was previously used as a insurance building. And until this SUE goes through, I don't believe that they wanted to invest any additional monies into it, but the operators are leasing the building. It would still remain in the ownership of NOR 2.0.
Thank you. You might have answered this already. What is the next step in this process before developmental disability clients are allowed to access this recreational day hab?
Currently, they would have to go for what is considered a change of occupancy, because they would be operating no longer as a business, which was the insurance, but they would be operating as a care facility as defined by the Ohio Building Code. With that, they would also, with the approval of this body and the SUE, would be able to proceed with finalizing their licensing agreement through the state of Ohio for being a caregiver, a care facility for these individuals. They have indicated to us that there would only be a maximum of 5 individuals, and they would not be staying overnight. It is only during the day. So it'd be no different than if you were dropping your child off at a child daycare center, and then their family would come and pick them up at the end of the day. But it would keep them safe during the day and give them activities and opportunities that they may not have if they were just left at home.
Mr. President, Mr. Gibbs, I don't mean to interrupt. Is it possible we can pull up on like a Google Maps or something, the property location? Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Gibbs.
You're fine.
Steve, is this the location?
Yes.
It's right across from Tire Man.
Yes, B-Dubs is right next to it in the white large area there. And then further north is Dairy Queen and then Walmart.
Okay, can I continue?
Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Gibbs.
Having been in other facilities that provide this type of service, there are handicap accessible restrooms, game rooms, television, and eating areas.
Typically, a facility such as this, because it is a change of use, would be required to upgrade if their restrooms are not ADA accessible, compliant. And also, as far as food preparation, I cannot speak to that because that's more of an operations.
Thank you. Okay, and I think you might have answered this already. Will there be a final inspection by the city to make sure that this recreational day hab is up to code and safe for clients?
Yes, every application that is made for a change of use goes through a full safety inspection.
Okay, thank you. Are there any age restrictions?
There was none produced or made by the planning commission, but if this body chooses to do that, you may.
So it could be kindergarten up to adulthood?
Adult. Oh, starts at adult,
No?
18 roughly.
Mr. Gibbs, I believe it's an adult daycare, correct?
It's adult
It is
daycare.
adult? Okay. Will the clients be restricted to the inside of the day hab? Navarre Avenue can be a very busy roadway, and there's no fences around it.
The applicant has indicated that they are under the care of the facility, and so their location and whereabouts will always be monitored, and they would have procedures in place to make sure that none of the clients wander away or get away from the environment that's controlled.
Okay, bear with me. With this being a non-medical day hab, will the staff be trained in any kind of emergency treatment?
I believe they indicated that they all have that training. And that is part of also the licensing requirements through the state of Ohio.
Okay, now here's the last one. Will anyone on the premises be allowed to consume alcohol or recreational drugs?
That is something that I cannot speak to. It never came up in any of the meetings. So for me to make comment on that may not be accurate. So I cannot speak to that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schrake.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Thank you, Mr. Schrake.
Mr. President,
Mr. Andrus.
just to add on to some of the questions that Mr. Gibbs had, my wife works with special needs adults, and she's been doing it her entire career. All people who work with special needs adults are required to have medical training, and they all do have medical training. And also, I have never heard of, in the course of her dealing with her special needs adults, there has never been an issue with regards to alcohol or drugs. I'm pretty certain that the organization she works with, that is strictly forbidden, because I've never heard of it. That's all, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andrus.
Appreciate that.
Okay, council, anything else? Mr. Mayor, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think if I remember correctly too, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Shrake, but I think they had also stated that they have worked with these patients previously, so they're a known both to each other as well. And also the concern about them getting away, that was a big reason why they were keeping it to 5 individuals as well, so that they were not quite about a one-on-one kind of coverage, I guess, if you want to put it that way. So that was part of it as well, from what they had stated. So just want to share that.
Mr. Mayor, you are absolutely correct.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Shrake, did you have anything else?
Sorry, the mayor is absolutely correct in his recollection of the conversation, as well as I want to reiterate that these are known clients. It's not something where they're just going out and soliciting new residents, new clients. These are just being relocated from a different location that either is a lease issue or they have outgrown it, the other facility.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shrake. Council, anything else?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
just for clarification of it, I've kind of read through it. I looked at their application and the supporting documentation. I find nowhere in here where it says adult developmental disability recreational day app. I only see developmental disability recreational day app. Just speaking to Mr. Gibbs' question, I see no specification that this is adult. I don't have an issue either way. I just wanted to call that out, that I do not find anything in here that scopes this to adults. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. I do know I was at the, for what it's worth, I was at the zoning meeting, and it was approved as adult daycare.
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
I know we're still in the hearing phase, but it could be something where that we could amend the ordinance before voting. It could be amended with then voting on the amendment to where you can change that to an adult developmental, et cetera,
Okay.
which I think would clean that up if those are so inclined to want that as part of that.
Okay.
Ms. Pfeiffer, am I correct? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, please come to the podium, please. Yeah.
I was just wondering, is it like 2 people that work there to 1 person, 2 to 1? What's the ratio as far as making sure that there's eyes on everyone at some point? Do you have any idea?
Okay. Mr. Shrake, could you hear?
I want to make this clear, I am not representing the people, and it's very difficult for me to answer very specific questions that may or may not have come up during the previous hearings, but I will try my best. And I believe that they were indicating that is why they were only going to have a maximum of 5, and they had 2 individuals that were staff. So at a minimum, it would be 2 to 5. Not 1 to 1. There won't be 5 staff members and 5 clients.
Right, that'll be a 1 to 1.
Ma'am, please speak into the microphone.
Oh, so that would be a 1 to 1 ratio? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not what they have proposed or
It's going to be
indicated.
less than that.
Okay.
I was just wondering.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
Good
so
question.
Daycare, you can keep eyes on everybody.
Okay. Yep, thank you.
Mr. Shrake, don't we already have one on the corner of Corduroy and Stadium? It would be, if that's what that facility is, because that's what I understand it to be, it would be a good reference. That was my only thought, is at the Mass Center that's on the corner of Corduroy and Stadium.
I'm not familiar with that, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I can look into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been there for a few years, I believe. Yeah. Thank you, Amy.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs.
I can't recall exactly, but I remember sitting in the audience of a meeting where there was a person explaining that there were going to be people in this facility that were like from 13 to 22 or something. And that's why when Mr. Horniak said that about adult, and we do need a clarification on that. Where is the adult age going to come in at? I mean, I don't have the answers.
Yeah, I'm not real smart, but I don't believe 13 would be considered an adult.
I think,
This
that,
country.
you know,
In some-
I
in some
defer,
countries it is.
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak?
I would defer to Ms. Pfeiffer's kind of interpretation of that, but I believe adult would be equated to 18 years of age, the age of legality in Ohio. And again, if you wanted to make that stipulation that it is an adults-only facility, you just have to make an amendment before it reaches passage. And I think it changes the vote requirement of council members because we are amending what the Planning Commission has presented. But you certainly have the ability to amend that accordingly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gibbs, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Pfeiffer, can you write something up on the
Yes.
amendment,
Yes.
please? Okay.
I would just change the title.
Well, yeah, you could do, well, you could do the title, but then down in the bottom.
Would you like me to do it on yours?
I'm good. I'm the one that has to read it.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
So I was just
She can do
gonna
it.
add adult in front of developmental.
No.
Yeah, be putting an
Okay.
adult in front of developmental.
Okay.
Thank you, Jessica.
I just need a vote if we're gonna amend
No.
it, though. Or are we gonna wrap it all in one?
Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. Wallensack.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will defer to Ms. Pfeiffer to follow the proper protocols so that we get it correct. I know that at times we kind of muddle through this because we don't do this very often, and I just want to make sure that we do the proper protocol as we move forward. And I would ask that we defer to Ms. Pfeiffer to make sure that we do the proper protocol.
Okay.
Well, someone will propose.
Mr.
the-
President.
Okay, hang on, Mr. Schrake.
Propose an amendment.
Mr. President, one thing I want to reinforce is these are developmental disability individuals, so they may not be functioning as adults that you may think. And also, the applicant was told of this meeting. They were aware of the time of this meeting. So if council chooses, they could also table this meeting until those answers can be made directly by the applicant.
Okay.
I would table it.
Okay, is there a motion to table item 104 to 2026 to a different date? Would that be right, Ms. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Is there a motion? Do I hear a motion?
I would make a motion to table it. So
Okay,
more clarification can come through.
all right. Mr. Gibbs makes the motion.
Mr. President? Mr. President?
Mr. Wallensack.
Mr. President, we need to close the public hearing before we proceed to this point.
Okay, even though we're still talking about it.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that, we got to close it, then we move
All right.
to that.
Okay, the time is 8:09. Thank you, Mr. Wallensack. 8:09, I will close the public hearing at 8:09, and I will assign item 104, 2026. And we have a motion by Mr. Gibbs to table it to a further date. Is there a second? I'll second it. Motion made by Mr. Gibb. I think after.
Mr. President?
Mr. Horniak.
If I may just suggest, we've waded these waters, I want to say it was a couple of years ago, we did this exact similar type of thing. in order to table or amend, you would need to have this motioned and seconded into action, and then the motion to table can be presented once it's read into the record. Then the motion to table would come forward at that time. You would vote on the motion to table. You need a motion and a second to table, and then a vote would be taken on tabling till a later date. Yes.
Okay,
You have to have something to table, and there's nothing official to table until it's actually motioned and seconded.
Yes.
Ms. Pfeiffer, do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Thank you.
I'm learning, folks.
okay. I will assign item 104 of 2026 as ordinance 104 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing a special use permit for parcel 44-19901 for property located at 3545 Navarre Avenue, Oregon, Ohio, for the purpose of operating a developmental disability recreational day hab on the property in a Navarre Avenue C5 Business Zone District.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 104 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second? Second. Okay, seconded by Mr. Walczak. Thank you, Mr. Walczak. Okay,
Now move to amend it, or table it.
I believe, do we need a roll call?
No.
No, okay, I'm
You-
sorry.
you-
I just want to make sure.
Are you still entertaining a motion?
Yeah,
Now, Mr. Gibbs, if you wanted to table, now would be the time to motion to table.
Yes, I would like, let me
Move to
ask you
table.
this. Can any changes be made to it
Wait.
once it's tabled?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we table it until further clarification can come through on this.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Now this.
Mrs. Ackerman?
You have a
Ms.
motion.
Ms. Pfeiffer? No, you didn't do that to anybody else. Ms. Pfeiffer, isn't it on the table for the next one, or it's dead? Isn't it kill it if we don't address it? And, if we don't take it
With
from
a
the
certain
table?
amount of time, yeah. so we're
Okay,
just gonna
I mean, we
table it
don't
to the
have to
next meeting, would
specify.
be fine.
So they might let them know, they might want to show up next time.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Mrs. Ackerman?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Need a second.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I take that back, Mr. President. That was a good catch, Mr. Horniak. Because I was at the meetings and they said adult all through the meeting and their presentation, but yeah, that was a good grab, good job.
Still need a second.
Okay. Second by Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Yep, Miss, what's that? Ms. Snyder, will you please take roll call of council?
Mr. Gibbs?
Step, any objections?
Any objections? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Any objections?
My apologies.
That's all right. Hearing none, Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call?
Mr. Gibbs?
No.
At this point, it's tabled. With
No
no
roll.
objections, it's tabled.
No roll call.
No, okay.
Okay.
I knew that.
All right.
It gets sticky when you start doing amendments.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to what we know.
Okay, next item is 99 of 2026 being presented by Paul Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was presented last week, and I have nothing to add to it. These are easements for an upcoming water line replacement project, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Council, any additional questions on item 99 of 2026? Hearing none, I will add item 99 of 2026 as ordinance 9090, I'm sorry, as ordinance 99 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to enter into an agreement with Rachel Tolson and Claudio and Brandy Pino for the acquisition of permanent easements for the annual waterline replacement Star Avenue Addition project and declaring an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Snyder.
Motion.
Is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Walzak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move for passage of ordinance number 99 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Walzak, seconded by Mrs. Pawlow. Okay. Shh. Okay, council, any objections? Motion made by Mr. Walzak, seconded by Mrs. Pawlow. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call.
Mr. Walczak?
Yes.
Mrs. Paula?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance of 99 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas and 0 nays. Okay, next item is item 100-2026 being presented by Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance was also presented last week, but I will add more to it. I think what I stated last week is that this is a preliminary design for a public boat launch. This item was included in the 2026 CIP budget due to the public's interest for a deeper boat launch facility, and the development of a preliminary design could be very useful in obtaining construction grants. And the proposed facility is in our area. It would be unique if it could be on the intake to Walleye Energy where sediment cannot deposit out as much as the rest of the lake. If you all recall, the existing boat launch does not work very well for large watercraft. The position of it just simply allows northeast winds to come in and drop in sediment. Even if you try to dredge it every year, you would still have that deposit show right back up. So it is unique to try to look at putting it on the walleye intake. Again, it is we wrote this as a non-emergency, and it's up for your consideration. So again, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Council, any additional questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs.
I was approached by someone recently, and they mentioned that, they don't have a boat, and a lot of people don't have boats. So, are we catering to just, a certain class of people that have boats and can do this? And that's.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I don't have a boat either. And there are some people in this community without children who don't go out to the wreck out back. And you could come up with a lot of things across the budget that you may not be affected by, okay? But I can tell you the current boat launch that you have that the city did receive a grant for, they do have a lease on that site. It doesn't work to the degree that it should. And that there are people with boats that wanted to count on that facility, and it doesn't work well. So that's how it became a budget item, and it came before this body to consider it. Now, not everything in the budget has to be done. You guys can always say no to any budget item. I get that. But when it gets approved and I'm asked to carry it out, that's what we did. I think that you could say there's a lot of things in all of these ordinances that you may feel not are affected. The question is I do know there's a lot of residents who have a boat in the Harborview Yacht Club. I know staff members have met with the yacht club, and they definitely support it. I know that there is, because of our area, there's no other ramp available. You're either going to City Toledo, you have to cross the river to get to Collin Park, or you're going to Minky Marina. And either direction, it's a good 25-minute drive. And so I think for those that do have a boat, it might be frustrating having what they have and, not having anything that's ever going to be better. So it's your choice, it's your decision. That's why it was here.
Mr. President,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Mrs. Pollock.
what boat launch do the fire department use for the boat?
Mr. President, Ms. Powell, we do use the boat ramp there at the end, but only when there's enough water there. Sometimes it's not deep enough for us to be able to get our boat in that location, so we do have to go down to Minky Marina if that happens. And it's happened quite often this year, honestly.
Would this serve you at all, this boat ramp?
Well, I would imagine as long as it's a lot deeper and where it, the location exactly, but yes, it would definitely service a lot better than what we got currently. The best would be if we had a little marina and we could actually store the boat right there at a marina, but, at least if we had a ramp that was able to, be in a location where the water doesn't get blown out, then we will be a lot better served than we are today.
Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Thank you, Mrs. Pollock. Council, any additional questions?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Ackerman?
as the owner admittedly of a 1986 Sea Ray, I feel shamed. But anyway, we are Oregon on the Bay. And I do believe, I know, I do appreciate your comment about South Shore because you're not the only person. I get calls and, you know, there are people concerned about the upkeep of South Shore Park. And you're trying to make me nervous? Anyway,
I can't see your name there.
I know, I'm just kidding. But, oh, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But, and those things need to be addressed. But I do believe that a deeper water launch would bring revenue and it would spur economy in the area because we have bass tournaments, we have walleye tournaments, we have a lot of money that comes into our city, but they go stay elsewhere because we don't have a launch, you know, that will, I know, if it's not something, but consider it the on-ramp for some other economic development there, because there are a lot of people, I mean, it doesn't take much in the size of a boat for it not to be able to use that small ramp. The wind's just gotta come out of the southwest and that's it. Nobody's using it except for kayaks and john boats. But I do believe it will benefit the city. It will come back to us. Especially, I don't know if there's discussion if it's gonna be free or there'll be a small fee for it, but that accessibility to being on the bay, I think, is overdue. So, thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs.
just for clarification, I'd just like to say, the question was put to me, I wanted to put it out there. And myself, I think any improvements like that are gonna be good for the community. I just don't like spending an extra $40,000, but, you know, if we've got it, we can spend it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. President?
Mr. Wallenczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once this is designed, and Mr. Roman, please correct me if I'm wrong, then we can go out and solicit grants, and there are grants available through state and federal grants to help develop and actually build the boat ramp and launch. So this would be a key point in any application that we would want to put forward for a grant. And the way that we've been writing grants, I believe that we will get state or federal money to assist us in the project. So this would be a key part of our application process.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallenczak.
There's a question back there.
Mr. Pete, come up. Come on down again.
You spent $40,000 fixing that boat ramp sitting down there now. Is that correct? About a year and a half ago, they pulled it out.
Yeah, it's possible they've
With a
put money
crane,
into it.
put new floats on it.
That's possible.
I mean, it's between 40 and 60 grand they spent on this thing.
I don't know what they spent on the past. We could ask the rec department
I
on
mean,
that.
everybody approved it like it was a rubber stamp. And the thing of it is, there's a float down there now.
No one's
That's
abandoning.
The thing is that they didn't follow what the public ramp has down there at Mickey's, would be at Metzger's. Got the wheels, they pull it out, they set it like that. They spent a lot of money just to improve that little piece there that is used by very few people. You got your duck hunters and your fishermen. Nobody's gonna go out there and blow from the northeast or big blow out of the southwest.
All right, Mr. Roman.
Thank you.
Well, I know the rec department is in charge of the boat launch, and I know they've made repairs in the past because there were some things that were unsafe. There is a grate that goes down into the water that I know had issues with it, but that was a lot of years ago for what I recall on that. And again, because it's so shallow, it is very limited, but that doesn't mean the existing boat launch goes away. Still can be used for small craft. The problem is you just can't put a large boat in, and that's where you get the most of your complaints. And you don't have to act on that. I get it. I understand that. I'm always fighting for money for infrastructure, and I kind of feel the same way sometimes. But I can't ignore there is wishes of the community that it does have a boat. I do know the Harborview Yacht Club, even though you may have Oregon residents that have a boat there, you also have the Harborview, which is a whole nother village in Lucas County. If you were to apply for grants and say that you have a village from the county along with the city in the same county, you look at then your safety services as to how they would benefit or from other safety services, it would be a good grant application. That's all. The idea is that it's seed money to get more grant dollars to put a better facility in. Doesn't mean you have to do away with the old facility. It can still be used for small craft. I think we need more kayak and canoe launches if we could throughout the community. You have that with the small boat launch right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roman. Council, any other questions?
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
Couple questions this, and I shared my thoughts on this last week at the committee of the whole meeting because I do know that we've studied it. And again, I know that was to the east of this area, which always provided issues with sediment deposits, which means you would constantly be dredging to make that serviceable. One comment I would make, I'll just say in general, is my belief, having sat in the seat for 10 plus years now, it will typically not be a profit center. Not much that the public entity builds or does becomes a profit center to a community. Maintenance, updates, all the things that go with it, this will be a cost annually of maintenance. There will be no doubt about that. Secondly, because Harborview Yacht Club is there, and I am a boat owner, and I talked early on with, let's look at a boat ramp. And I want to say it was, I think you said 9 years ago, we looked at that. We commissioned a study, and they said no way it'd ever work because of the dredging requirements that would be on there at potentially $1 million a year to dredge that out to make it serviceable at that time. But having another launch, another facility out there, certainly something that could be out there. Individually, from my own belief system, I'm always challenged anytime the government puts in something that competes with a private entity. And you have Harborview Yacht Club right there. And now government is putting in a facility to compete with a private entity. So I'm always challenged with that. You spoke a little bit to the funding, and I'm assuming that state funding that we would be targeting with that, or would it be state and federal?
I mean, you have U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and there is a lot of other recreation funding that you could apply to. And, keep in mind, and I'll answer that question. I have more comments in regard to your so, the concept that the city was approached with before was the idea of habitat restoration on the east side of the CDF facility. But that east side, and the idea is that in order to do that habitat restoration, the idea was a boat launch with that. The problem is the east side of that and our existing launch as it is now faces northeast, constantly gets sediment. Just remember, your existing facility, if you want to properly maintain it right now, you would dredge it, and you're looking at a couple $100,000. And next time you have a northeast wind, it's going to fill in right again. So that's the problem with so you already have an existing facility that can't be properly maintained without spending a lot of dollars. You're right, it's not a profit-making thing, but you already have heavy maintenance right now. If you choose not to do the maintenance, which we've chosen because of that cost, it's then limited to a small boat launch facility. And it can remain as that. We don't have to look at something better. We don't. I think for Harborview Yacht Club, for me, it was something that could be next door where they could monitor it, they could maintain it, the city could do an agreement with the village there'd be a lot of things that you could do, and clearly you could go after a grant where they're a applicant to it, as well as police and fire, or fire in this case, benefiting from it as well. That's all.
Very good. I just had one other piece, if I may continue, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Okay. And I appreciate the input to that. And again, much to your point, Mr. Roman, studying it does not mean we're locked into doing it. It means let's just look at a preliminary, so I understand that, again, I do have a challenge with creating a facility with a private facility and direct competition nearby. My next question is to Chief O'Brien, just on a comment that you had made, because I certainly see where there's a benefit with that now that we have a boat. I'm kind of thinking, half laughing, and I'll say this with joking in my voice, I see a request for jet skis coming next. You said that we currently launch our fireboat. If the water's not deep enough at our ramp, we launch it at Minky's West. We're not using the county dock, which would be half the distance to the water. For speed, I would think that we would want to use the county dock.
Mr. President, maybe I misspoke, Mr. Horniak. Yes, we do use the
Mr.
county
O'Brien.
dock at,
Okay.
Mankey, but it's at Mankey Marina, that county dock that you're talking about? Yes, yep.
Yep. I was gonna say, it puts you half closer to the water, would express,
Yep.
your speed would be much different getting out to the water, leaving from there than leaving really
Just-
adjacent to Corduroy Road.
Just on that last incident, when we went out there for the people in the water that we were doing the search, that's where we launched from.
Okay. And I'm gonna kind of share something, Mr. Walzak and I, you just mentioned, as we were talking about this, was there ever any thought with the boat in the fire department for utilizing that at the marina at Maumee Bay? For keeping that in the water at Maumee Bay?
We never did talk to Maumee Bay about keeping it in the water there, but we have talked to the marina, like the docks behind the condos. That would be a better fit for us because it'd be closer for us to respond. We're just not, and it also has that break wall, which allows that 4 to 5 feet of water in there, and you can always get out. We don't want to disturb neighbors, though. That's the problem. I mean, we go out there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's what we would be up against. But we did check that when there's not enough water at our current launch, there is enough water to get out right there. There has been talk about keeping the boat at Harborview Yacht Club. The issue somewhat in that realm is just the getting out into our service area by the time you get over to Harborview Yacht Club and have to come all the way out and around there. The flexibility of having it on the trailer has helped so far, but it would be ideal if there was something right there at the end of Wynn Road, or something very close. That would be a lot more ideal than what we're doing now, because it's always us double checking what the water is at the end of Wynn to make sure, can we get in there or not? Nothing's really ideal, but the flexibility of having it on the trailer right now is serving its purpose. It's been used quite a bit this year.
Well, I would suggest as we head into budget season, which oddly enough is not too far around the corner, we may consider, putting that in the water so that it is in the water, which will save you having to figure out, is it deep enough, is it not deep enough, because that takes time. Travel to that, where basically you just drive to the boat, hop in a boat, and anybody who's got a boat, when you have to drop that boat in the water, you will use it less frequently than when it is in the water and you park the car, climb in the boat and go.
Very true.
So there is a very good time savings in that. I would say it's probably worth bringing it up in discussion, during budget season too, to consider for 27. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak, Mr. O'Brien. Council, any additional questions? Hearing none, I will sign item 100, 2026 as ordinance 100-2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to enter into an agreement with Littoral Services LLC 530 Hidden Beach Road, Marblehead, Ohio, to provide professional engineering services for the preliminary design of City of Oregon boat launch facility in an amount not to exceed $39,720.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. Is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Andrus.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 100 of 2026 as presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andrus. Motion made by Mr. Andrus. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Ms. Ackerman. Okay. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call of council?
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
No.
Mrs. Pauloff?
No.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. Ordinance, okay, that's what I thought. Ordinance 101 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 5 yeas and 2 nays. Okay. Next on the agenda is item 101 of 2026 being presented by Mr. Roman. Mr. Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance was also presented last week. I'd be happy to answer any questions. It is simply buying salt for this upcoming snow and ice season.
Okay. Council, any additional questions on 101 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 101 of 2026 as ordinance 101 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the acceptance of the bulk de-icing salt delivered bid and authorizing the mayor, director of public service, and finance director to issue purchase orders to Morton Salt Incorporated, 1 North Franklin Street, Suite 450, Chicago, Illinois, per unit price of $92.83 per ton for bulk de-icing salt, declaring an emergency.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Andrus.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 101 of 2026 and declare an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andrus. Is there a second?
Second it.
I think it was Mrs. Pauloff. Mrs.
Oh, I'm
Pauloff,
sorry.
second. It was close.
It's real close.
No coin toss needed, right?
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Andrus, seconded by Mrs. Pauloff. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call at council.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Snyder. The ordinance 101 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas and 0 nays. Okay, next on the agenda is item 102 of 2026 being presented by Brody Walters. Brody.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for the authorization to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for their NatureWorks grant program. This request would be for improvements at South Shore Veterans Park. This has come before council previously. Just wanted to justify the emergency clause here. We did submit an application on July 15th. We have up to 30 days to provide that certification letter in the form of an ordinance to accept, or excuse me, to apply and or accept the grant from the NatureWorks. So we need to turn that around quickly. That's why the emergency clause is located in there. Assuming this passes this evening, we would present that documentation to ODNR prior to the August 15th deadline.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walters. Council, any additional questions? Hearing none, I will assign item 102 of 2026. I will assign item 102 of 2026 as ordinance 102 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Public Service Director, and Finance Director to apply for and accept the NatureWorks grant from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for the South Shore Veterans Park Accessibility Project and declaring an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 102 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Second by Mr. Wallensack. Thank you, Mr. Wallensack. Motion made by Mr. Horniak, second by Mr. Wallensack. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call at council.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Paula?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 102 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas and 0 nays. Next on the agenda for passage is item 103 of 2026 being presented by Mrs. Ackerman and Mr. Gibbs. Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President, back in 20, let's see, off of Aries, sorry, it's right in front of me. May 4th of 2023, the city of Toledo purchased 135 acres at the corner of Wynn and, not right at the corner. It's, for anybody that wants to know, it is parcel number 4413177. So it's not the house right on the corner, it's behind that. But it's 135 acres for a reservoir, clean water, safe. After the algal bloom, then the EPA told them that they had to have a reservoir that would serve, would have a 15-day reserve supply of safe drinking water that would hold 1 billion gallons. And so they purchased that to appease the Ohio EPA and because they want to have clean drinking water available. So being on the Environmental Committee and Public Utilities Committee, I thought, well, yeah, it only stands to reason that it behooves us to show support for keeping clean water available for the region, because it's not just Toledo, it's the surrounding area. So even if it takes, now they're trying to, because now they have to redo the whole water line, they are in need of a delay in putting in this reservoir. So even though I wasn't wild about Oregon not having any say about the 135 acres going to that, and when, there was just no discussion, whatever, because of it being a utility, and a need for safe, clean drinking water. Mr. Gibbs and I were discussing it, and so we came up with our, and it's basically just, do I need to read it? Is that what you want me to do?
If you'd like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if Josette does that. But I can do it, it's fine. So it's a resolution to support for protection of safe drinking water through adherence to responsible land use. And the city of Oregon recognizes our responsibility to protect safe drinking water on behalf of our region. And the 2025 Oregon Comprehensive Plan acknowledges current agricultural use and designated future use as a suburban cluster east of Wynn Road. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Oregon, Ohio, that due to long-range plans by the City of Toledo to build a 1 billion gallon, 15-day reserve supply of safe drinking water on the 135-acre parcel 44-13177 per the Ohio EPA, that no industry shall be placed or occur east of Wynn Road outside of the area designated as innovation. There are maps here. It's Josette, Ms. Snyder has it up there, but there are some other copies here if anyone wants to know about those definitions of what's innovation or what is the suburban cluster. So Section 1, the City Council of Oregon, Ohio takes this action in profound acknowledgement of our role as stewards of clean, safe drinking water for our neighbors. Section 2, the City of Oregon finds and determines that all formal actions of the city concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of the City of Oregon, that all deliberations of the city and any of its committees that resulted in those formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including the Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22. And that if this passes, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced upon its passage and signature by the mayor. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. President?
Mrs. Pawloff.
I have, quite a few questions. First of all, now, I'm all for clean drinking water. I want that known publicly. I am for clean drinking water. But one of the things that stood out to me in this is I understand us being good stewards. I've complained about where the water line was for Toledo for years. So, but are we inserting ourselves into something that's between the city of Toledo and the Ohio EPA? Are we asking, is this resolution asking our landowners around this to act a certain way in favor of this? I mean, that's like, there's zoning involved that we have to follow, zoning criterias. This kind of, will this negate what those zoning criterias are saying? I don't know if we're imposing on landowners. I get that I get what the suburban cluster is, but you look at the properties around there and the majority of them are industrial. There are agricultural put in there, but I guess I don't really understand what this does.
Toledo.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Sorry, Mr.
That's okay.
President. Toledo determined that they needed that property for that reservoir. So who am I to question that? If the EPA is in agreement with that's where they should put a reservoir. So I just think it would only make sense that if you're going to have a large 1 billion gallon source for drinking water available, that we should probably say, yeah, we shouldn't put any industry next to a source of drinking water. As I didn't pick that location, the city of Toledo did. So I just think we would, as the environmental chairperson, I think, and public utilities, it's like clean drinking water is more important than anything, than all money, all next to air, it's everything. So I just think it shows good faith on our part to say, hey, we see that you have this need and we want to support you in that. And it comes in line with our master plan. So if someone changes the zoning, then but it would show that, hey, we see that you want to put this reservoir, you need to put this reservoir in, and we'll wait this out with you, because they don't know when, based on the cost of it. But I don't see what the harm would be of saying, we see your need for clean drinking water and we support you in that.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Ms. Pauloff.
I completely understand the need for clean drinking water. If we look at the reason why that was put on in the first place, that's what should be addressed, is why we have the need for this in the first place. But as a councilwoman for the city of Oregon, the city of Toledo knew where they were going to have this reservoir. They purchased the property. They have to fall in line with the zoning of that property. And we have to respect all other surrounding landowners with their zoning and what they follow in their zoning criteria. For me, it's not a matter of everybody wants safe drinking water. And I assure you that the Ohio EPA is going to make sure that that reservoir has clean drinking water. They're going to be on top of it, because I know what they do for the city of Oregon's drinking water. So with that being said, my issue is we're literally changing a zoning criteria through this body right now by saying, sorry, you're industrial, you can't put that there because it's by water. I mean, look at EnviroSafe. Look at all that's close by the Toledo water plant itself. Did any of their operations change because it was a matter of public drinking water? None of it did. So do I want clean water? Absolutely. But do I want to infringe on landowners that currently own properties surrounding that to limit them on their zoning criteria? That's the little glitch that I have against this. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Mrs. Ackerman.
I believe that it is, the master plan dictates that there will be no industrial east of Wynn. So why would we not want to, back that up with a resolution that there's not going to be any industry east of Wynn? That's the master plan. That is the consensus of the majority of Oregonians. And I do foresee something else having to go right next to it, that we can't protect a 135-acre reservoir.
Mr. President?
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Mrs. Polloff?
I get what you're saying. I understand it, but we don't own those properties right now, and there are people in that area that are operating industrial practices already east of Wynn.
No, ma'am. That is up in the innovation section, which we allowed for in here. So that
So
moving
does-
forward in adherence to the master plan,
Does the asphalt plant fall into that area?
that's in the innovation section.
Okay.
President?
Mrs.
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer.
I'll let Mr. Roman clarify, but none of this is changing anything with zoning. All of this is doing is confirming the master plan that we've already put into an ordinance back in March. Same with the proclamation, it didn't change anything. It's going back and referring to the master plan again, and that is already an ordinance. So I don't have any concerns about zoning changes. I think this is more of just recognizing what's already in the master plan.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Montmiller had a question.
One more thing, Mr. President.
Mr. Roman, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just,
Walsh,
just
you're next.
again, all the references to this future land use plan, it is not a zoning change. It is simply a future land use plan. There is industrial development east of Wynn right now. That is asphalt materials. Their Adler Pelzer Group has a building
the
there
north.
as well. But as Mrs. Ackerman said, they are in the innovation area. Even area south of them is undeveloped land. South of them is also in that innovation. But if you read the resolution, it just says that it's following this plan. And then on top of that, they are supporting whatever Toledo was planning to do with that property. You correct me if I'm incorrect.
No, that's
Okay,
correct.
Mrs. Polloff.
I understand everybody's saying that, and I understand this isn't a zoning change. I think saying that negates whatever zoning's there, but that's just me. But I already said yes to the master plan. And I've got to say this, I mean, again for this, that, if that property comes available, we can't put anything there because of what Toledo is doing with property that they own in our city. That's, I understand where that's coming from, but like I said, telling landowners what they can do outside of what their property is zoned for, that's the issue for me. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mrs.
Miss-
Polloff. Mrs.
Mr.
Ackerman.
President, it is currently zoned residential. Anything that happens there is going to require a zoning change. So to whatever it would ever become, there'll have to be zoning changes. But I don't understand, it's my committee to ensure that clean water, clean air, I address those issues. So I don't think, I can't understand your objection to a simple resolution saying, Toledo, we see what Marcy Captor, the Army Corps of Engineers has already been brought on board. So it's not like, hey, it's a pipe dream that they were throwing around. They've got, I can cite you several Blade articles, Channel 11, 13, all did stories about how that will be their Toledo's future water reservoir. So we're just saying, hey, we're going to try or do our best to keep it from, that you can do that without fear of something polluting moving in, especially since it adheres to our master plan. So what's wrong with having saying, hey, we're going to make sure, that you can do that. So I don't know your objection. I guess I don't understand it because it would come down to a zoning vote anyway.
Okay, thank
Another-
you, Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr.
Ms. Montmiller had a
Mrs.
question.
Polloff.
No, I understand clean water. I truly do. We're gonna have a reservoir next to a reservoir. And how well did Lake Erie, how well are they doing with making sure Lake Erie is safe? Can you answer that? Because do they think that this reservoir is gonna be the end-all be-all? I mean, what happens if that gets polluted?
That is up to the Army Corps of Engineers, the Ohio EPA, and the city of Toledo that all decided that was a good idea, so.
Mr.
Well,
President,
and that's my point. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gibbs.
this is a simple resolution, and if anybody that's not familiar with that map, that purple area there is the area in question. That is,
That's the
No.
innovation.
what?
That's the innovation.
Yeah,
Oh,
purple's
I'm
innovation.
sorry.
That's
Okay, the purple is the innovation area. And all this resolution is saying is that nobody is going to be able to expand beyond that innovation area without some sort of zoning change or whatever it's gonna take to do that. Because this resolution is there to just protect the safe drinking water that's possibly gonna be in that reservoir.
Okay, thank you,
Make any
Mr.
sense?
Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs, I got a question. Is it the light yellows?
Right there.
RD, you got better eyes than me. That's Cedar Point.
Actually,
right,
Right,
go
yeah, right
west,
there.
right there.
Okay, thank you. I got it now, thanks.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I had three questions. I now only have two. I was going to ask Mr. Gibbs what his input on this was. First one, and these should be fairly straightforward. Ms. Pfeiffer, the legislative weight of this resolution is what? 0?
Close, yes.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
more of just symbolic. The ordinance would obviously take precedence over any of the other
Okay, but there's,
resolution or the.
there's no
proclamation.
legislative weight to.
No, and in
this
fact, it doesn't
resolution.
change
It means
anything in the
nothing.
ordinance. The ordinance is already there. That was
Okay.
passed in March. All this is doing is reaffirming that.
Okay. And then my question would be, I guess, to Mr. Gibbs and Mrs. Ackerman, why not bring this forward to a committee of the whole meeting or bring this to a committee meeting? Why walk it on at a regular meeting
Mr. President.
without any prior discussion?
Mrs. Ackerman.
I did give it to, Ms. Pfeiffer was on vacation. Mr. Walters, I didn't know he was gone for the day on Friday when I brought it in to him. I was unaware that the deadline of Wednesday at noon applied to anything from council. So I was sure to get it in before Wednesday. And as you said, since it really is just a gesture, then I didn't know that safe drinking water was gonna produce a huge discussion, since it is mainly symbolic. So I guess I don't know what your objection would be to this, other than, I mean, we're just saying, hey, Toledo, we see you and your need, and we see you have 135 acres that you want to build a reservoir on. And that, recognizing that and how that would fit in with the master plan of the cluster, suburban cluster
Sure.
residential.
I understand that, Mrs.
So,
Ackerman.
yeah, so it seems pretty harmless to me to say,
Oh, and that's perfectly fine. My
Yeah.
question wasn't the value of clean water. If there's anybody in the room against clean water, please raise your hand.
well, that's why.
It's very facetious to say it's just supporting clean water. It's not
Why?
necessarily
Why
just
is it
supporting clean water.
facetious?
My question was why it wasn't brought to a committee of the whole or a committee meeting prior to being walked on, and it was because the deadline wasn't meant to get it in to be considered
So
for
you
the
want
committee of the whole.
to drag out a symbolic gesture into the next?
I'm just asking why it was walked
gave
on
you the
instead of
timeline.
brought through a committee of the whole.
Because.
It's a straightforward question.
Because I told you, because the law director was on vacation and Mr. Walters was, he was out of the office when I brought it in. I didn't realize we had a deadline. So I haven't heard you scrutinize walk-on things that cost millions of dollars, thousands, whatever. This is costing us $0. And so I'm not sure why you're irate about this symbolic gesture that's just saying, Toledo, we see your need for regional clean water. and
Yeah,
we
Mr.
support
President, if
that."
I can maintain the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's my blood pressure thing. I've never
I get
been
it.
here this late. Sorry,
That's your blood sugar, you're confused.
I bet. Mr. Horniak.
Thank you. I would object fairly strenuously to irate. If anybody thinks this is irate, you've never seen me coach. I'm asking a question of why it wasn't. I have asked that question in previous times. Many times when the administration is moving something forward that they're walking on, a lot of times I'll get a phone call. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. Hey, this is coming forward. There's a lot of times it's prefaced. We didn't have the ordinance ready for the committee of the whole, but we're going to present this at the next meeting. A lot of times it's brought up ahead of time. The first I saw this was literally when I read through the agenda over the weekend. And just to clarify, Ms. Pfeiffer was gone last week. To get it in for the committee of the whole would have been the week before that.
Good
The
point.
Wednesday, the week
Good
before,
point.
to have it at the committee of the whole.
And you could have contacted me any point up until right now, but you didn't.
I didn't, because again, it was walked on, we would have this discussion this evening. But again, if it was on the committee of the whole, we would have had that capability.
Well, I guess it's your prerogative. You know, it was like when they walked on Joel Mazur's resignation, and I never saw it or anything about it till it literally was placed in front of me that evening, and I was expected to give an answer for it. So I guess you have to vote your conscience on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, like I said, my questions were direct. Why wasn't
Yep.
it brought on to
Appreciate
the
it.
committee of the whole? And the deadline wasn't met. And the legislative weight of it is nil. So that's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Council, any additional questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. Andrus?
would this have to be an emergency measure, given the short amount of time? Just a question.
No. China, you don't have to.
It's not presented.
No.
All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Yep, no problem. Okay, council, any other questions? Hearing none, I will sign item 103-2026 as resolution 103-2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
A resolution to support for protection of safe drinking water through adherence to responsible land use.
Okay. No. Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs?
I'd make a motion that we present this item 103-2026 for passing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs, for the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mrs. Ackerman. Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Motion made by Mr. Gibbs, seconded by Mrs. Ackerman. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call?
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Present.
Mrs. Pauloff?
No.
Mr. Wallensack?
I abstain.
Okay. Okay, thank you. 4 yeas, 1 nay, 1 abstention, and 1 present. Okay. Okay,
Mr. President,
Mr. Wallensack.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
over this way.
Okay. I heard it, but I also heard somebody talking down there.
I'm just not understanding some things, but Mr. Horniak, what does present mean?
It's neither a vote or yes or no, it's a vote that I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. I thought the same thing. I'm glad you asked it. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Okay, next on the agenda, We're gonna go right to a liquor permit. How about that? Okay, council, we have a liquor permit on the agenda this evening. I'm sure you've overlooked it. Hang on a minute. Bear with me. Council, do we have any questions regarding this? Do you have any questions regarding this liquor permit?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs?
I don't have any questions. However, I would like to read something, okay?
Okay.
You know, this used to be the fun spot, place where people went roller skating all the time and everything. And there's a couple brothers that have the property now, and they're doing a good job with it and everything. And why the liquor permit is needed now, I don't know. But anyway, here's some statistics, okay? In 2024, Ohio recorded 1,476 alcohol-induced deaths, while alcohol impairing driving factors contributed to roughly 29% of the state's fatal traffic crashes. Chronic and acute excessive drinking historically accounts for an average of approximately 6,784 deaths annually in Ohio. Ohio collected approximately 60 million to 116.9 million in specific alcohol beverage excise taxes for fiscal year 2024, alongside with significant general revenue generated from spirituous liquor gallonage sales. Okay, now that's statistics there. I'm not condemning the use of alcohol. I'm just saying, where is the point where we're gonna need liquor permits for, I mean, we're gonna need them for sporting, I mean, we have them for sporting events, but what about high school events? You know, we're gonna need a liquor permit to sell liquor at high school events? Or we're just gonna hand them out wherever anybody requests them, you know? That's all I got to say about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak?
I move that we instruct the clerk to check the box that we do not request a hearing.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Ms. Snyder, check the box?
Good.
Yep, okay, thank you. Okay,
Mr. Drake, Mr. President, we'll have to
Mr.
ask for, before it becomes, we have to ask if there's any objections.
council, is there any objections?
Oh, I can object, can I?
Yeah,
Yeah, I object.
okay. Mr. Gibbs objects. So I believe you need a roll call, correct? Okay, Ms. Snyder, please read it into the record.
Not read it.
I don't think you need to. I think you just roll call. The motion's already out.
I'm sorry.
The motion's already made to ask the clerk not to check the box for a hearing and seconded, so you would just need a vote,
Okay,
since it's not verbiage, a roll call vote.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
I don't know how else you'll toss a midget without drinks, so yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Wow.
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Present.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Okay.
Learn something new.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So 6 yeas and 1 present.
Okay, the vote is 6 yeas and 1 present.
So we're gonna check the box for no hearing.
Yep, so there will be no hearing. Check the box.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs?
you know, this could become like Christmas, because there could be a lot of presents coming on here, you know it?
I thought of that.
Bad,
Okay,
bad joke, I know.
having considered all items on the agenda this evening, we will now move on to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Get comfortable. This is going to get long. I'm kidding. We've had enough. I will make it very, very short. The only thing I really have is I just wanted to address Mr. Pete, I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name, but the flag at Veterans Park, it is in process. Andrew Laurel has put together a group that has raised donations to put it out there. They're just waiting on, it's on order. They're just waiting on the actual installation of it. So it will be there shortly. And on the water, I totally apologize. I failed you. So I promise you, mark it down, please. We will have water out here for you all if you need it at the next meeting. So I apologize for that. Outside of that, that is the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walters. Ms. Pfeiffer.
Mr. President, no report.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pfeiffer. Mr. P. Roman.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Horniak.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mrs. Pollock.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pollock. Mr. Walczak.
I have no report this evening, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walczak. Mrs. Ackerman.
For my standing committee, environmental, I did want to make mention that EnviroSafe they are making a change with how the drinking water is handled there, and that passes through from the Toledo line, and they're raising it up above. It will no longer be buried underneath EnviroSafe. So when you know to do better, you do better, and I applaud Toledo for coming up with running the water line high above EnviroSafe so that we don't have to worry about leaking into their water supply. So anyway, just to clarify that, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Mr. Andrews.
Mr. President, no report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andrews. Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. President, I don't have a report, but you know I want to read something, right? Okay.
You got it.
I would like to comment on the recent Blade editorial. It certainly raised a few questions and almost appeared to be threatening the citizens of Oregon, suggesting that if a data center isn't built in Oregon, it will be a financial disaster. Our citizens are aware of the many possible job opportunities that could come with the construction of a data center. All you have to do is drive a short distance to Wood County and see what effect that would have on our quiet farming community. We're aware of the many businesses that are lined up seeking to reap plenty of money at our community's expense. Will Turner stands to gain substantially from this development, and rightfully so. It is his job to sell this, just as a car salesman and house realtors do. And believe me, when I say this is not the deliverance Oregon needs from its financial woes, every community needs to be wiser with their finances. Let's not forget that the servant is subject to the lender. I have faith that the good citizens of Oregon will keep praying and seeking God's will in this matter, and that no matter how much money is being dangled in front of them, they will keep in mind that the love of money is the root of all evil. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. I have no report from my committee. I just have a follow-up question. I should have asked Mr. Roman earlier today when I was here. Mr. Roman, I don't know, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I brought up about sidewalks and possibly lighting from I believe it's assisted living, the corner of Coy and Seaman. They do have a sidewalk there to extend it down by the GAF where a lot of people do walk. I brought it up. I could probably,
Asking though,
yeah,
how would you put in a sidewalk or?
yeah, I mean, is there a grant or something you could do, or
Well,
are you gonna look into it or not, or is it is it a dead dog?
Well, I
Something to be
don't
done?
recall any grant money unless it's associated with a particular road project. If the city chose or council chose to, they could order in sidewalks as well. But I know Deb Baker has brought up Navarre. I do think there's concerns there about ordering in sidewalk on Navarre just for senior citizens to walk the south side. So I think there's areas of the community that we do need sidewalks. There is there's a cost to it, to residents, obviously, because you would assess it. But yeah, I don't know of any grant in particular for that area.
Okay, so strike the grant. So could the city make the businesses in front of that put in sidewalks?
Yes, this city council could order in sidewalks, but it would be to assess it. Or, it could be the city deciding to just put in sidewalks as part of a capital expense. But typically sidewalks throughout the existence of Oregon, it's always been assessed unless you get a grant to pay for it.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Roman. That's all I have. Council, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. President.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Pauloff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Gibbs.